Hi, welcome to the part 4 of this video series. Here we are looking at Tableau CRM and Einstein Discovery Consultant Certification Exam questions. Please focus on the concepts that are explained in this video series. This channel is dedicated to help you clear the certification exams. You can refer to the other videos where I have explained in depth how to clear the AWS and Azure related cloud certifications. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my videos if you feel the content is really helpful. For questions 1 to 20, please refer parts 1, 2 and 3 of this video series. Now let's move to question number 21. So this is all about security options. So which security option is not available in Einstein Analytics? So inherited security, row level security is available. That's what we have seen. So these two for sure it is already available. We want not available. So if you see this is an example of inherited security as well as row level security. Okay, what is inherited security? Your grandfather and father had two hands and two legs, and now you also have two hands and two legs. That is inherited. You are inheriting that property. So we just saw in the documentation that these two are already available, which is not available now. So if you see field level security, here it says look under the heading field level security to see if any objects you want to query have field level security. For example, if you have you are storing someone's social security number, SSN number, or your national identification number, and you do not want that data to be visible to all of the users. You only want it to be visible to some super admin users or some head of the departments and so on. So that's where we apply field level security. What it means is if a user doesn't have access to that field, he cannot see it. If a user has access to this field, he can see it. Okay, so we also saw field level security is there. App level security, there's only one thing left. See, there is a concept of security predicates, and that is exactly what your row level security does for your data sets. Hence this is the right option. This option is not available in Einstein Analytics. First three are available. So here goes our thumb rule. Now the thumb rule states these are the three security levels we have: row level, inherited and field level. This you should remember as a thumb rule. Let's go to question number 22. So this question is talking about what does the division in navel section of waterfall graph tell you. So there is a waterfall graph in Einstein Analytics, and there is something called division that you can select. You see here we are selecting division, and then you can select navel in this. So what is the purpose of doing this is all with CLV. Now maximizing the CLV is your only goal. That is why we are doing it, and it explains variations in CLV. So what happens is, you see here, if you select naval here, it says the average CLV is 1.75% higher than the global average. So this is what it is doing. How combination of factors affect the CLV of naval customers. This is what it is doing. This is not about how individual factors separately affect the outcome, not separately. How combination of factors affect the CLV. Now C says what is the relationship is between significant and insignificant factors. There is no such understanding here. If you see that documentation, we are not doing that segregation. Okay, so we will lock this answer and move forward. Let's see question number 23. So here in this question, what it says is there is a consultant has built an app, okay, and the intention is to distribute it as an Einstein Analytics template app, and we need to locate the specific information to get started. Okay, so basically the folder source is what is required. If you see, these are all the paths. So this one would be a really simple one since we are looking for template apps. So C would suffice because all templates are in the wave path, and this is not going to be in the analytics path because that is a wizard or a project in these options, and we are not going to put it in the wave apps because we are not sharing it as an app specifically, but we are sharing this as a template app. So that's why we will put this here. So C is the right answer. Let's look at question 24. Okay, this one is an interesting one. What does Einstein Analytics check when a user submits a query against a database? So see, imagine like if you are coming in from a database background and you have a SQL editor or some tool like Toad where you are using it to fire queries. So you would first log in into the database or the schema. Suppose it's an Oracle one, you will first log in and then only you will be able to fire the queries. So the first option is of no use here because it says that the first thing it will check is if the user has access to the app. Uh, isn't it obvious that you were able to write a query and fire it only because you had access to the app? So this one is not correct. It's not a good use of common sense. So let's look at B, which fields the user has access to. So this is not this stuff. It will check immediately because when you fire the query, uh, most likely if there is a field level restriction, uh, so you could not see the field as well. So but that is not uh, the first thing that is being checked. This is wrong. The first thing is always it will check if which rows the user will have access to, kind of. Now if you see option C, if the user has access to the dataset, it's the same logic for A. If you don't have access to the dataset, you cannot even submit your queries. So C is wrong. So this is our final answer. We'll lock it. Let's see question 25. So this question is about like what is another name for the type of insight that examines how one variable explains the variation of the outcome variable. So it's like how the uh, product range will, so that is one variable. If you include a range of products instead of just having two products or three products, if you have a range of products, how will that explain the variation of the outcome variable, which is probably say sales of the products, okay, or a revenue generation from a particular region. So when we do that, this is ideally a concept of first order analysis. If you see this documentation here, what I've done is this is a first order analysis, and here if you see this is the type of insight that examines how one variable division explains the variation in the outcome variable CLV. So that is your first order analysis. So I could not get anything in the documentation which talks about second and third order. And object oriented analysis is something to do with programming. I've never seen such kind of analysis in Salesforce. So here we get a thumb rule. We will note it. Now let's look at question number 26. So what are the two main parts of a lens or an exploration? So these are the answers actually. So if you are doing a hands-on, you will see visualization and grouping are two main parts of lens and or exploration. See, the logic here is if you are using a lens or an exploration, you got to see in the form of visualization to make some sense out of it. Okay, so that is your first main part. Okay, and then the second stuff is when you do those visualizations, you will try to do some groupings on top of it, and that is what we think these are the two main parts. Let's look at question 27. So this is again a question of common sense. The question itself has the answer. So it's event monitoring analytics app. and it's asking which this brings pre-built insights analytics to what type of existing data. For sure, it's event log file data because event monitoring, it will hit the event log. It will not be based on the field audit trail because audits and event monitoring are different. Audit is something like, if um, data processing, it does. So audit is like if someone clicks somewhere or some sort of data has been accessed, so everything is getting audited for future reference purpose. For example, someone fired SQL queries, so that is also audited because if there is an unauthorized access, someone was trying to hack the database, then that will be audited. So this is wrong. B talks about forensics. In an IT system, there is nothing called forensics data. Everything is audit kind of data. So B is wrong. C talks about sales cloud data login. So this C is wrong because it will not log the event monitoring stuff that is logged in the event log file. So this is the right answer. Let's move forward. Let's look at question 28. So what's the best way to describe template info JSON file? So JSON, you should always remember that is the boss template. There is no other logic to other stuff. For example, the first one says read-only file with user documentation. So this doesn't save the user documentation for template. It's actually the template, and it's the boss. It's a master copy. Okay, and it so A is wrong. C states that it makes sure that the app includes all the right Salesforce data. So that is not truly correct because if what if we are basing the app on a non-Salesforce data, so it's not necessarily true. So C is wrong. So it says that it's automatically created when you create an app from the template. No, so this is a template info. So when you create a template, that time it will be created. It will not be created when you create an app from the template. It should be ideally created when you create a template. Hence, these three are wrong. This is the right answer. So what you see here in the documentation, this says that this is the main file that describes the template. That's point one. And then what are the attributes that you can find? You can find the name, label, description, icons, tags, your release info, variable definition, template type, whether it's an app, an embedded app, or a dashboard. Okay, variable definitions, folder definitions, auto install definitions. It's like it contains a lot of stuff here. So here goes our thumb rule. We will make a note of it for the revision and summarization towards the end of this module. Now let's look at question number 29. So you have a Salesforce admin who wants to create a new dashboard that uses custom GeoJSON to display the data, and the admin is unable to upload the file via the UI. What should be done? So obviously there is a problem with permissions in this case because uh, it's trying to upload and is not able to do that. So if I just use common sense and see something with permissions, I see A has the permission stuff, and yeah, that's the only stuff. So let's decode option B. So enable custom maps with GeoJSON. So this one is like, so option B is like if we have to use custom GeoJSON, we anyways have to set this setting. We have to enable custom maps. But the question looks like they have enabled it and still they are not able to do it because that's the only step that is required to enable it. So if still they are not able to do it, then it has to be with permissions. Hence B is wrong.
So let's look at this one. Upload the JSON via API because it's not a function of UI, no, which is not correct. You can upload using uh, UI as well. Hence, C is wrong. Uh, it is not that it will work only via API. It works via UI as well. And then option D says contact Salesforce support and request to create custom maps and JSON enabled for doc. That's wrong. It's not required. If you use option B, you're already using option B and still it is not working, then it has to do with permission. So D is wrong. So hence A is the right answer. Let's move forward. So this is just a screenshot of like the permissions. So you have a permission like manage Tableau CRM, manage Tableau CRM custom maps. But if you give this, it's like Tableau Analytics or Tableau CRM. So now it's called manage Tableau CRM custom apps and not analytics. But it depends upon in the exam you may see this an older version or you may see Tableau CRM mentioned. So you have to use your own judgment. Both are correct. Tableau CRM is a new name of Einstein Analytics. Let's look at question 30. So list widget is added to a dashboard with existing chart and tables. What must be true for the list widget to facet the dashboard charts and tables using widget properties? So facet is like if one changes, the other should also reflect. So A, uh, it says it will only happen, the faceting will happen if they share a common name, which is wrong. The naming can be anything. That's common sense. Any tool will not have such restrictions that the name should be the same. The names usually are unique, so it cannot share a common name. So A is wrong. Let's see B. It says they must share common dimensions from different datasets. No, so they have to be from the same dataset. So B is wrong. It cannot be different datasets. Now let's see option C. List, chart, and table steps must share the same dataset. That is perfectly right. They can be faceted only if they are sharing the same datasets. Uh, And option D says chart and table sets must have their own list widgets. That's not correct. Otherwise, they cannot face it. So D is wrong as well. So this is our answer. Let's lock this and move forward. Please subscribe to my channel. This channel is dedicated to helping you clear your certifications, whether it be Azure Cloud or AWS or Salesforce products or some other products. Please focus on these concepts and the thumb rules that I explain in these videos. This brings us to the end of part 4. We will meet in the next part.